No, and I think that it's like we keep reiterating, these are not habits just to survive COVID. Again, this is good habits to protect you completely, because obesity is on the rise, and we
Yeah.
need to eliminate the obesity. Think a little bit smarter about our health and how we can and beat it. And I think that there are some cases, maybe I don't know, maybe you can correct me, but there are some cases of obesity that maybe could not have been prevented. But for the most of it, I think it's just our standard lifestyles that we have changed in the past 10 years. Our foundation changed. And
Yeah.
these are good things to talk about routinely to remind ourselves, don't, you can eat
So
better.
yeah. So one thing we should keep in mind that the obesity is not a God gifted. It has not come to you through the nature. It is a man-made. It is a man-made disease. It is a man-made disease. And if it is a man-made disease, you can always control this. And everything is in your hands. Everything is in control. So it's a mindset. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your diet pattern. You have to change your lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's a good point, that it is a man-made disease. There are a lot of man-made diseases,
Yeah.
and there are things that those are the things that we're supposed to control, and we're not. And we just need to be on top of it. I see it all the time, and I ask myself, how does this happen? I think it starts here. It starts with a poor foundation, but also something that irritates me is it's cheaper to buy the poor quality foods and the foods that are not good for us than it is to
Yeah.
buy the healthier foods. A mom can go in and buy several bags of potato chips and hand them out to the kids for less than what she could buy one bag of oranges or apples or
Yeah.
bananas. And that shouldn't be. We should be encouraged and inspired and rewarded for shopping healthier, and we're not. It's just, I, th- you know,
So
I,
yeah, yeah,
Dr.
nature is
Sabha,
providing us a healthy food.
yeah,
Nature is providing us a healthy food. I mean, nature is providing us fruits, vegetables, lot of complex sugars, the natural sugars. We have a polyunsaturated fatty acids. Lot of things are there in the nature. But what we are doing, the man is playing with all these things. We are interfering. We are making those healthy food into ultra processed diet.
yeah.
So we are processing the things. If we are processing the things given by the nature, now the nature has started processing us. And when the nature is going to process us, we have seen the results of COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, and I think one of my doctors one time, he shared with me that it's healthier to eat the fruit than drink the juice. I was always saying, "Well, I'm drinking the juice. I'm drinking the." And he goes, "No, no, no, no. Your body needs to die. That's why nature made it this way. Your body needs to digest the fruit. It's healthier for the body, and it processes. That's why the fruit grew that way. So yeah, you're right. We go out and we process it in ways we shouldn't be. We need our bodies need to eat it the way it grows. It just it's just
Dr.
absolutely
Sabha, I
right.
have a question for you regarding the bariatric surgery. So we have seen that there are a lot of young children, basically, or newborn child, they are obese. Since the day
Yeah,
they born,
yeah.
maybe they started getting the obesity maybe in very early age. So,
Yeah.
what is the difference between that obesity and that obesity which we created after maybe after late 30s or early 40s?
Ankit, there are a lot of causes for the obesity, and one of the causes genetic also, the environmental also, and your lifestyle also. You know, the genetic also plays around 10 to 20% of the obesity. That is the Prader-Willi syndrome. There is a leptin resistance syndrome. So a lot of syndromes are there because of the mutation in the genes. You have an obesity prevalence in the family. But now, which we are seeing the adolescent obesity, moreover, that adolescent obesity is because the environment of that family is not good.
Yeah.
If there is a genetic can occur in one or two
Yeah.
adolescent in the family. But all the adolescent in the family, they are, the a lot of families, they have
Yeah.
everybody is obese. So
Yeah.
that is because the environment of your family is not good. You are more prone to have obesity. So that is the major reason. So if there is, even in the genetic obesity also, we are doing the bariatric surgery. We have done 4-year-old boy also. and they also need some sort of surgery, because ultimately this surgery is going to change the hormone level inside the body, and
Yeah.
according to the hormone levels, the obesity, or there would be the weight loss, and we can say the less prevalence for the diabetes or hypertension to develop in the adolescent or in the adulthood. So those type of the obesity can also be controlled, but moreover, these obesity is because of the family environment. The obesity is running in the family because nobody is running in the family.
Yeah.
So that is the family environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well said, sir. Well said. And also, we have seen that. There is still a gap whenever you go out and try to buy the diet foods and things like that. They are not available in the market, and people tend to buy food which says healthy food, and but they are not healthy for you. So, what kind of food habits we need to develop, especially for the obese people? I'm not talking about myself, but generally for the obese, because they also would like to eat all those junk food, but how they can, try to prevent themselves from eating those food and try to change the
So
diet.
yeah, there should be an ABCD formula. A is for the adequacy. Your diet has to be adequate, having all the things. Number B is balanced. The diet has to be balanced. The lot of things are there, like dairy products. They are good. You can say they are not good in the protein, but they have some sort of natural carbohydrate. They have some sort of iron or other things. So you can combine always the constituents. Some constituents, they have a deficiency of something, and they have a deficiency of other things. So diet should be balanced. C is the calorie. You should see your diet should provide you lesser in the calorie. It should be more, bulky diet. So the bulky diet will make you full early.
Okay.
So you will consume less calories. So you should have a bulky food. Then it should be adequate, balanced, less calorie, and it should have a moderation in everything. Moderation in everything.
And also, sir, how important is if we start, doing our dinner early, maybe before 7, and then
So
that will also help in
that
the lifestyle?
Yeah, that way we can see your metabolism, the timing of the metabolism. So the meals has to be according to the timing of the metabolism. So if we see, there are so many studies which they studied the level of the ghrelin. Level of the ghrelin. Ghrelin is an hormone that is orexogenic, that increase your appetite. So in the morning at 7 o'clock there is a peak of the ghrelin. Then at 12 o'clock there is a peak of the ghrelin. Then 6 o'clock there is a peak of the ghrelin. So it means after 7 in the morning, 7 to 9, the metabolism is very fast. Then 12 to 2 is the metabolism is fast. And then around, you can say, 6 to 8 is the metabolism is fast. So these are the timing for your meals. If you take meals in those timings, in those intervals, the metabolism would be good. Your food would be digested well. If you are taking your meals beyond these timings, maybe your dinner after 8, then your metabolism becomes slow. And when the metabolism is slow, your digestion is not good. Whatever you have eaten, that would be deposited. The absorption of the glucose depends on the concentration of the glucose in the body. So if you already have a high glucose at 8 o'clock time, then whatever you will eat, the glucose, that would be absorbed and that would be deposited in form of fat and the glycogen.
Okay.
Because what we do, we spend our money in the daytime, and whatever the extra we have, we always keep handy to us. So fats and the glycogen, they can easily break up and give the glucose. Right. So that is why the rest of the glucose, which is not used by your blood, by your blood and then your body cells, that has been deposited in form of the fat and the glycogen. So that will what that will give you. The fat will give you more adipose tissue, and the glycogen will give you more glycogen deposition in the liver. So liver will also become fatty. Your abdomen will also become fatty. The periphery will become fatty. So that is why we should eat our meals in time period of when your metabolism is on the faster side.
How do you spell that hormone ghrelin?
That is GHRELIN. Ghrelin.
Grelin. Okay, because I just wanted to study that. And the last three, you said A, B, C, D: adequacy, balanced, calorie, low calorie, and what was D?
Uh, D was, I let you know D. I
Okay.
forgot the D. Yeah.
No worries. Okay, I'm making notes here every time you speak.
Yeah.
We can rewind the video and we can get to know what is the
What
DV
is-
part.
Okay.
And Dr. Saggu, I mean, you know that, I mean, in India, people used to have that early morning tea or bed tea. How good or bad
Yeah.
is that bed tea for your health?
Sorry?
So generally, we take early morning bed tea or morning tea without having empty stomach, basically. So is it good or bad for health?
No. Always best is you take a plain water, plain warm water in the morning, in spite of taking any type of sugary things, because your tea is enriched with the sugar, right? So the morning tea is not good. It's a fashion. Sometimes husband gives to the wife, and sometimes wife gives to the husband. So this is give and take. It's not
But
good.
to maintain
It
the
doesn't have
household,
any nutritional value.
to maintain the household democracy and to maintain the household peace, we need to
Yeah,
have
this
that.
yeah this is the maintain the relationship between husband and wife,
Yeah.
nothing else. And bedtime at the dinner, after the dinner, is also not good. I think
Okay.
after 7 o'clock you need not to have any type of carbohydrate. If you want to have, you can have a natural carbohydrate that can be from your fruits, that can be from your dairy products. You can have a milk at night. And Mr. Rakesh, the D is nutrient density. The density of the nutrients has to be good in your diet. So A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
Density. Okay. What about, so I never put sugars in my teas. Is that okay I usually just
Yeah.
go tea straight. So,
Yeah.
but I believe in a glass of water when I first wake up, and I brush my teeth and get a glass of water, and then go to my tea or coffee. So, but I don't put any additives in my tea.
Yeah, if we can have a warm water, glass of warm water before brushing your teeth, that is good, because your saliva, overnight saliva, is alkaline, and always good to have a alkaline water into your stomach. That will neutralize your acidity. So
Okay.
to neutralize your acidity in the stomach, you need to have a alkaline saliva inside the stomach. So always good to have a glass of water before brushing your teeth.
And see, I didn't know that. That is good information.
Very
Oh my
good.
gosh! Wow. I mean, and that will help probably with our digestive system
Yeah,
the day and everything. So
that's
I'm
true.
gonna
That's
switch
true.
it. I'll have my warm glass of water when I wake up, and then brush my teeth, and then go.
Then brush your teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least
Awesome.
swallow your saliva. That is why swallowing your saliva is very important. It has lot of nutritional value also. Lot of enzymes are there. Amylase is there. Amylase is very important enzyme for the digestion.
So are there some teas that are better for you than other teas? Because you always read these labels, right? And they go, "Oh, this tea's better for digestive," and this. Are there some teas that are really better for you than others?
So you can have a green tea, because green tea have antioxidants, and the antioxidants always take away the free oxygen radicals you have in your body. So to get rid of your free radicals, antioxidants, any type of antioxidant, whether it is a green tea, whether it is a vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin C, these all, vitamin E also, they are all antioxidants. So having an antioxidant is good for your skin, good for your body.
Okay. No, I think that's good to know. I just,
Yeah.
you always read labels, right? They go, "Oh, this is better for you than this," and ginger tea is better for your digestive system. I think if you mix spices up, it's probably good. But yeah.
These herbs are important for your immunity. Even ginger is good. Even the garlic is also good. Turmeric is also good. You can have a cumin seeds also. So these spices which we use for your cooking, that are very important to boost up your immunity. So for that case, you can have a turmeric, you can have a garlic, ginger. These are good.
No, I agree.
My wife takes turmeric with coffee regularly. She enjoys it.
Okay. I actually take turmeric with the milk during at night.
Right, okay.
And
with
rabbit milk.
with 2 cloves of garlic.
Oh,
Oh, I never heard of that. That's it.
Yeah, that is the immunity booster. That is the immunity booster. And because I got
that's a secret recipe of Dr. Saggu.
I got my tooth extracted, so good for that also.
No, I think that's I would have never thought of that. You know what's interesting is I would feed my dog garlic every day. And you know why I did that? To keep the ticks and fleas off of my dog, right? So my dog was eating healthy, and I'm like, one day I'm like, well, if I want the fleas and ticks off my dogs, one of me, why don't I eat the garlic, right? so
I think the turmeric is good for skin as well. I think Dr. Tulla is with us.
Yeah, it's
not
a good
doctor.
antiseptic. Yeah, antiseptic, and it's good for the skin also.
so
Sashikal Tula.
Hello, sir. How are you? If we go by literature, if we go by the ancient literature, this turmeric or haldi, which we know in India, it was used for a lot of ailments of skin. Especially even in burns, they were using this. So even people who used to get burnt, they were using this as a
Turmeric.
treatment. And yeah, so
Sir, we can't hear you. You need to.
Oh, sorry.
We can't hear you.
ask him to pick his mic
Is
up.
it better now? Yeah, is it better now?
It's
Yeah.
better now, but there is some blocking as well on your
Okay.
camera.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess so. This is what the thing is, that if you go by our ancient literature also, so there are a lot of practices which being done before, and turmeric is one of the most, you can say, an immunity booster also, as well as it was used in a lot of skin treatments, including burns, as I told you. So this is there with the turmeric story. Now comes with the tea. Now we need to understand that tea basically is a plant. See, you need to understand what is the difference between the various kind of teas, right? So there are two steps in teas which they are done. One is basically a rolling. That is, once the tea leaves are plucked out of the tea garden, so there is a step which is known as rolling, in which what they do is, this is basically partially processed tea. That means that there are the leaves which are basically dried and rolled over, and then the other steps of tanning and other things come into the picture. So tea, the green tea, which you basically is available all across the world by different trade names and all, that is basically, you can call it very lightly processed tea. So it's basically, minimally processed, right? The rest of the teas which are available with us, the common brands all around, they are processed tea. So you have tannin in greater quality in them. So we need to understand two things when we are taking tea. One is that we have a practice of including milk in tea, and especially in India, we have this habit of boiling the tea too much, right? Now, this is not a good thing to do. Though we Indians are hooked to boiling tea, we love to boil the tea in the pot and keep it boiling and boiling. I am also, a culprit in that I do that a lot, and it makes the tea tastier. But unfortunately, it does not make it decreases the nutritive value of the tea. So there is this challenge between taste and nutrition. So rule of thumb all over is that always you see that if you talk about nutritious food, it's going to be little less on taste, right? That's typical of it. So the more the oil you put in, the more you put in the cheese, marmalade, these things you put them, the food becomes tastier. So we need to, there is a trade-off which we need to exercise when we are eating. That's what it is. And the most important thing in certain cultures, as I'm sure it happens in America also, I've seen all across the globe while traveling. So people have now started going to processed food. So they've lost the art of cooking.
Yeah.
One reason is they don't have the time, because everyone is busy. And what happens is, over a period of time, people don't really know what they're consuming. So even when they are buying the products off the shelf, hardly many people are looking into what they are buying. They're just pulling, the things off the shelf and putting it in that basket and carrying it home, opening it and eating it. So this is a tendency which we have realized that over a period of time, this has become. The other tendency of people why they tend to overeat is, one, because of psychological reasons also, which is very underrated. People don't appreciate and realize that there is a lot of psychology also involved in eating. So people who are depressed, people who are not, where the chips are down, there is a tendency to overeat. And once you start overeating, you will keep on eating and eating. The best trick to stop eating or try to contain eating is to chew more. So that means that when you're ideally when you're putting a bite in your mouth, you should be grinding it for 30 to 40 times. Now, how many people do that? Because if you grind it for that period of time, you will realize your appetite is going to go down.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the more you grind it, the more the message goes to the brain that, okay, you're filled. If you start stuffing your abdomen with food, the message portraying is going to be late and you would have overeaten by that time. I'm sure Dr. Saggu will agree with me there that the main story is to chew more. Unfortunately, we are so much strained on time and effort, so we are basically all we are gobbling food rather than enjoying food.
That is true.
That is true.
So very important is, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and how much to eat. So these four things are very important.
And also with whom to eat.
Yeah. So
because your partners are also kind.
There should be a mindful eating.
Yeah.
So whenever you are eating, you should be focusing on eating. So rightly said by Dr. Tulla that you should chew it properly. So basically, after bariatric surgery, we train our patients to chew more and have a mindful eating, because constitution is very, and you have to eat for your health. Don't eat for your taste buds. That is very important. If you go by your taste buds, you are not going to have a healthy food. So diet pattern and when to eat and how to eat is very important. You have to chew it properly. Again, there is importance of saliva, because when you are chewing properly in your oral cavity, number one, you are grinding it properly. Number two, you are mixing your food with the saliva.
Yeah.
Because saliva has amylase and lot of enzymes. So number three, your food becomes alkaline. Then you will not be having any acidity. So you are mixing it in the alkaline media. And number four, you will enjoy your food, because while keeping the food into your oral cavity for a long time, your taste buds will be happy, even you are having a healthy food.
Now
And also, I would like to know that because in India we try to use or eat with our hands, and people in other countries they use it with spoon and all. So, is there a difference in understanding your mind that you are eating full or your tummy is full when you eat with hand or using a spoon?
Look, there is no enough data, for that. But yes, some says that because of the tactile stimulation of your fingers, the reflexes which is going from your digestive system towards your hypothalamus of your brain, that becomes faster. Because the first sense of your food is your oral cavity, your tongue. But then the first sense becomes your fingers. So because you're touching your fingers with your food first, so your reflex starts early. So we don't have enough data to prove that, but yes, this is the, you can say, mythology behind this, the culture of having food with the fingers.
So Ankit, the biggest problem with us, what we've seen over a period of time, is that we need to understand that we should eat in a peaceful atmosphere. Right now, what has happened is that every time we are eating, we are either watching television or doing anything. So our whole focus is not on eating. It is, see, if there is a heated debate going on, you will eat more, because you will be embroiled so much into that debate which is going around that you will forget what you are eating. And this is typical, which we've seen. So, with children also, why are the children getting obese? There are three reasons for it. One, of course, there is a lack of physical activity, because they are so much ingrained with technology that they don't want to go outdoors. They don't want to stretch it out in the hot, humid weather. Everyone is now into ACs, so that's a challenge. Number two is that they have access to a lot of food which we didn't have during our childhood. So there is a lot of, fat filled, high calorie food, high calorie drinks which are available now. And everyone is basically the binge eating and binge watching. So that's the challenge. So as a rule of thumb, we should always try not to, when we are eating, we should try to refrain from interaction of any kind with any technology, or watch the TV, or read a newspaper, because if our concentration is not towards eating, we are going to go overboard. And this is a typical thing which there's a paper on this which has been published where they have seen that people who eat with their mind into eating eat relatively lesser as compared to people who are distracted and they eat.
No, it's.
Yeah.
But
That's-
do you also
So the-
believe that eating empty, eating like 80% of your stomach is good, or you have to eat or make your stomach full, then only you feel that you have eaten well?
So there are 2-3 things with it. What happens is traditionally we used to eat fruits after food, right? Now the concept is absolutely other way around. So it says that eat roughage first, so that you fill your stomach with roughage, and then eat the nutritious food what you are eating after that. So that even if you want to eat more, you will not be able to eat more. So roughage comes as roughage means cucumber, it means all kind of green leafy, well-washed vegetables, right? So these are things which we should be eating. Even if we want to take water, we should take water before food, maybe around half an hour before food, so that we are some partially filled up before we start taking food. Because if we are not that, if we are not, we are not, I would say, balanced with our food, or we are not strict with our food regimens. Because see, ultimately everyone is bound to cheat, right? Yeah. It's very difficult. Honestly speaking, how many people are there? You can hold it. Raise your hands if you have never cheated in life. It cannot be. Right? And with the food, when the food comes on the table, you are bound to cheat, right? So we need to, make ways and means around it, so that we are careful with that.
So why not cheat our stomach to think that we're eating more? That's smart. Cheat ourselves by thinking we're eating more, right?
Yeah.
Scientific fact behind Dr. Tulla's theory is, rightly said Dr. Tulla, we should have a more roughage as compared to having a lot of carbohydrate or sugary food, because how your satiety reflex starts from your stomach to the brain. So basically, this is again, Rakesh, this is a ghrelin based. When there is a stretching of the wall of your stomach, then only the ghrelin will tell then only the receptors in the wall of the stomach will tell the brain that you are full. So until and unless you are not stretching the wall of your, in India we say, pet bhar ke kha liya. That means you are stretching the wall of your stomach, and that stretching you can do. The normal capacity of your stomach is around 1.5 liter. So that stretching can be possible when you have taken the portion size of 1.5 liter. And then 1.5 liter can have 500 calories if you have taken roughage along with that. It can have a 5,000 calories if you have taken a lot of sugary food. So that depends on you. So the 1.5 liter of your food will stretch the wall of your stomach to tell your brain that you are full. So that depends on the contents of your food. So, again, if you are taking more refined sugar is the sugar which has been processed from sugarcane or sugar beet. Like white flour is there, sweetener there, corn syrup is there. So all those things which are not good for you. So these refined sugars, they have a simple sugar. And I tell you that these simple sugars or refined sugars are very dangerous, because they are being digested very fast, because they have only one saccharide. Either it would be glucose or it would be fructose. So that will be digested very fast, and you will not feel full, because whatever the sugar you have taken, that will absorb immediately, that will give you energy immediately. You will feel, I'm not full. You're not stretching your stomach. So that is why you should not be taking the refined sugar. You should always take a natural sugar. Natural sugar, it may be partially processed or it would be non-processed. Non-processed like your fruits, your vegetables, and partially processed like your whole grains. In spite of stripping up your grains, you have to take whole food, whole grains, so that you can have more roughage, as being discussed and has been explained by Dr. Tulla. If you will have more roughage in 1.5 liter, you will have lot of roughage and you will stretch the wall and you will tell your brain that I'm full. Number two, Dr. Tulla discussed about the binge dieting. Binge dieting is only there when you are late awakener. You are not sleeping in time. In spite of sleeping at 10 or 11 o'clock, if you are sleeping at 2 o'clock, because while you are awakening, the ghrelin hormone is going up. Your body's ghrelin hormone is going up, and that is a hunger hormone. So that will tell you, I want to have something always. But while sleeping, the leptin hormone is there. So when there is a leptin hormone is anorexic hormone, is satiety hormone that keep you satiate, satiation in stage. So you will not have feeling of the hunger when leptin is there, but you will have a feeling of hunger when ghrelin is there. So in spite of awakening at night, you should have in-time sleep, have a good quality sleep. So that would give you a good health.
Well, that is
But sir, some people are
useful,
able to
because I
contact.
do experience this. I do experience when I stay up late, I feel hungry. That's why I go to sleep now pretty. I'm supposed to go to sleep now, but yeah, it's 11:30 here, so this is my normal time to go to sleep. But you're absolutely spot on this. I totally go with you.
Yeah, I think too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe our commercialization of how we eat needs to be changed as well, because like they'll show a dessert that just looks so delectable and we know it's so bad for you, right? But why not show somebody eating a really delectable piece of fruit and at the right time of day of when they should eat it, like maybe before they go to bed, or the drinking the milk that's mixed a certain way. My grandmother used to tell me she would always warm milk before she'd go to bed. She said it would help her sleep better, that she didn't need any sleep aids when she had a warm milk before she went to bed. I don't know how true that is, but I do know it worked for her. But perhaps if we saw commercials or famous people like the celebrity we had on last Tuesday enjoying the right foods at the right time of day and commercializing that, what do you guys think about that?
Absolutely. I think it is what we see on television. And I've just also resolved not to switch on the television. I always switch on the television when I'm eating, or I'm reading a book when I'm eating. And this talk has been absolutely an eye opener.
So I've never believed in the TV being on when I eat, because I feel like I lose conversation if somebody's at the table with me. But sometimes when you're by yourself, it's easy to turn on the TV just for that noise of
hearing human voices.
Just your music. You don't need the TV.
So Kim, it is better that while eating you can listen to music. I mean that also phone conversations. They're also one big no-no. So that is a no-no. We've seen a lot of people basically while they're eating, they're conversing. So their mind is into conversation. They don't know what they're eating.
And no texting either. I have a rule at my house: phones down at eating time. I don't care how big a group we have, if it's a party, any of that. All phones down at prayer and dinner. Done. Because I think you're right. I think we're too into the conversations and not what's around us. What I find interesting is how you both support the chewing of the food, drinking a glass of water before we eat, which I try to do, but I tend to forget. But what about taking liquid while we eat? Is there a formula that works best while you're eating, taking liquid?
So we should be drinking water around 30 minutes before you're taking food and 30 minutes after you have taken the food. Because what happens while taking a liquid along with your food will neutralize your enzymes in the digestive system, and then the enzymes will not be able to work properly and your digestion would not be good. So it is not good to neutralize your enzymes or dilute your food in the stomach. Once the stomach has passed, once the food has passed from the stomach into the intestine, that takes around 45 minutes to 1 hour. Then you can have water because now the food has crossed your stomach and has gone to the intestine for the absorption. So then this liquid will not going to dilute your food. So we can have after 30 or 45 minutes of your meal.
So
Interesting.
what
Yeah.
Dr.
And the
Saggu is
principle,
telling you
always
is,
we should,
the beverages are off. The beverages are off
beverages
the
are off.
table. Off the table.
Yeah, again, the coca along with the food, coca is having a refined sugar. So say no to refined sugar. No coca, no sweeteners, no corn syrup, nothing. Just have a bulky diet, high fiber diet, so that you can say your brain, I'm full, with 500 to 1000 calories only. So that is the best principle. That is the best practices you can have, and the best policies always do two things at one time is always bad. Do only one thing so that you can give your 100% focus to one thing. If you are eating mindful eating. If you are watching TV, you are watching TV. If you are listening music, you are listening music. If you are talking, you are talking. Two things are always bad at one time.
No, that's in business that's a good practice too. That's just a good discipline to try to focus on one thing because you get it finished, right? If you don't focus on that one thing, a lot of times it doesn't get finished. And I think eating is probably the place that we forgot to do this. I think it's very important. This is probably the best conversation I've had in a long time.
A long time.
I mean, I've learned so much about just drinking with my meal and all the things about, when to eat and how. I forgot about chewing. We learned that as a kid. How many? Shame on you. Oh, shame on you.
So that's all
You
I
make
kid.
that an ice
That's
cream and
not
then I'm in trouble.
No, but generally, I mean, you know that. I mean, a lot of people suggest that if you don't have food, you can have a chocolate
Snicker.
or maybe a sneaker. Is it good for health?
So that's
No,
good for
no,
energy. That's good for energy,
is
but not good for
this is
health.
good. Yeah, this is good for cheating. You can say chocolate is a cheater.
Chocolate is a cheater. My dad was diabetic, but his favorite thing, I hate saying this, but he kind of liked it when his sugar dropped because my mom would give him a Snickers bar when you showed the Snickers bar. Because my doctor one time told my mom, when his sugar drops, just get him a Snickers bar. So I think my dad would do this on purpose. And he'd let his sugar drop so he would get a Snickers bar. So my mom would stock up on Snickers bars and she would keep them in the refrigerator so they wouldn't melt. They were they didn't have a lot of money, but she would, when the doctor said he could have it, my dad would go, Snickers bars, make sure you get the Snickers bars. And, but that's how
we have a healthy snack also. So the typical, I'm sure Mr. Krishnan will be remembering that when we were kids, we used to eat a lot of that. That is what is known as the chikki or gachak.
Yeah.
That is basically peanuts with roasted in caramelized
sugar.
Sugar.
Mustard.
So that sugar was also so that sugar was also. I mean, see, we when we were children, there's a very interesting thing which used to happen. So we used to eat a lot of this good when we were children. All the tea were also made from this jaggery, right? Jaggery, right? So what happened is, over a period of time, jaggery was replaced by this refined sugar. And this is how Americanization of India happened, madam. So I'm just giving you a little history.
We can say it's a westernization of India.
You introduced sugar to us. Yeah, so you introduced sugar to us. We left jaggery and went into sugar.
You can't
blame what has happened
sugar was invented in India. Sugar was invented in India.
I'm just telling them that the kind of, I remember when way back in the very early, very early 70s and 80s, a lot of people in the villages were only used to taking jaggery. So sugar was nowhere there, right? Then came sugar, and slowly there was a status symbol attached with sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the status symbol changed the entire thing. And now look what we are going into. We are again going back to jaggery.
I agree. There you go. You know what? Why not start evolving? Because this conversation has just been fantabulous. But why not start evolving maybe an app, because we are so into our technology, that tells us some better snack foods to eat, right? Because I think if we're reminded and shown that wow, and make it look tasteful, right? Because we do that with candy and junk. We make it look so good and sweet, but maybe we can do that and advertise healthier foods, like eating blueberries. I'm waiting for my blueberry bushes to ripen. I've got thousands of blueberries. The birds will get the most of them, but because I won't put nets up, because the snakes always get tangled in the nets, and I don't like the snakes. So I just let the birds have some, and I get the rest usually. I think the squirrels climb into them too. But blueberries are good for you. I can eat a pound of them in one setting. I'm sure that's not good. I'm sure you two are going to go, Kim, that's too many. But I could eat a pound of blueberries.
Yeah, all the berries, whether it is the blueberry, strawberry, raspberry, they are good sources of natural carbohydrate. It is not a refined carbohydrate. So that natural carbohydrate, it absorbs very slowly, and it make you feel full early. So that is why we drink milk at night, because milk has a natural carbohydrate. It very slowly it is being absorbed from your body. So maybe you have drunk at night, and after 4 or 5 hours, this will be absorbed. This sugar will be absorbed. So that is why this is a good source of natural. Even all the berries, they're good source of natural carbohydrate. They're good source of protein as well. All the berries, they have good amount of protein.
They're healthy, not just internally, but all of this kind of develops your external, right? It makes your hair healthier, your skin, right? Dr. Tulla, I mean, this is good for your skin. Eating healthier. Women need to know this, because we're at home without any of our beauty aids, right? We're not going to our beauticians. We're not going getting our hair done. We're not going to see it. Some people go see a face beautician for face maintenance, where they exfoliate your skins and clean your pores. But we're at home, but eating healthier is internally and to external. That's better, right?
Much better.
So it is. Skin is basically a reflection of yourself. What the mind is telling you is being reflected on the skin. See, aging is going to happen with everyone. I mean, everyone is going to age. But you see, there are genetics involved. There are a lot of other factors involved, skin quality and all that. But the paradox is that if you're not eating well, you're aging faster. So that is why it is very important that you eat right, you eat a balanced diet. Of course, you're going to cheat a little bit here and there. That's okay, provided that you cheat less. You don't cheat more, you cheat less. And so you just cheat a little lesser. And I mean, that's what the way it is. So you eat a lot of basically natural food, and natural means, I mean, not which is laced with pesticide.
Right. And I agree.
That is also a challenge. Because, I mean, honestly speaking, natural is no longer natural also. So I mean, that is a bigger challenge also, and especially in developing countries like India and all. So we have these fruits and all which are grossly contaminated. So I mean, it's a challenge.
It is a difficult challenge, because I often wonder too, if we're spraying the fruits as they grow, is it growing in the fruit? Of course they say it isn't, but in my garden, I use all natural herbicides. What I mean by herbicides, we don't use herbicides. I grow flowers that keep the bugs and the pest away. And we just, if a plant is overridden with bugs, then we just remove the plant. And we just go, well, that's just a little bit less fruit for us. But we don't believe in any herbicides in my garden. But when I shop for fruits and vegetables, I have no idea what they did with those. The ones who say natural, I don't believe it. So I wash it good, but I mean,
same here. I washed them thoroughly.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it didn't grow in the fruit. Sometimes stuff grew in the fruit, and I mean, I could be wrong, but it's conceivable. But I don't know why these places can't do what I do. Like most bugs, they hate marigolds. You can plant a field of marigolds. They hate them. I have the most beautiful green bean plants that no bugs, not one bitten bug, because I plant marigolds all around my green beans. And Yeah, and you know,
Can I ask you a question? I mean, Mr. Krishnan, you are based in Singapore, if I'm not wrong.
Hong Kong, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. So, what is the? I mean, if a guy gets caught for, contaminating the food, or fortifying the food.
Adulteration of the food.
Adulteration of the food. That is the word.
Adulteration.
I would use. So, what is the penalty there in Hong Kong?
Well,
is there a penalty for this?
I'm not aware because I'm not so familiar with the laws of Hong Kong. But most of our food, like the apples I have now, have come from New Zealand. So most of our food is imported.
Imported,
So I know in New Zealand they're quite strict about this.
Yeah,
so I
they are,
usually buy New Zealand apples because
They are.
I'm from New Zealand in that sense. We have pears from France. So because Hong Kong has hardly any
Anything.
local
Agree.
food production, you know. So in that sense, even the water that we drink is from China. You know, it comes from the Pearl River, which comes from China. So we have good processing, you know, purification plants and things like that. Hong Kong is quite okay, actually. The quality of food that I get in Hong Kong is better than what we normally get in India. But in New Zealand, we have the dairy is so rich. The food, the beef is so rich. I am petrified. I'm planning to return to New Zealand later on this year, and I am petrified of what's going to happen to me there.
So
I will have to
talk. We just had a
symbols, you know.
Enjoy the food. This is what I really got out of this conversation is, and
Really
honestly, you know, we talk about how good, you know, the bad food is, but quite honestly, I don't like my meats heavily seasoned with the salt. I've learned to really, if a steak is really rich and good and comes from a good meat market or a wherever, it tastes better, and it tastes better without all the junk on it. Yes. So maybe what we're talking about here is just enjoying the real flavors of the natural foods and take your time, like you're smelling the roses. Right?
Yes, I'm not going to switch on the television now. That's gone. It's going to stop. The ghrelin point is very, very useful, and the leptin, that balance. I normally, by now I should be asleep, at least 15 minutes of sleep. So I'm going to call off pretty soon. But that's something I'd read about, but I didn't know which were the enzymes involved, and I just thought it was an old wives' tale. But you know, now that I know the science behind it, and I'm basically a scientist, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to follow it, and no other activity other than eating when I sit down for a meal, and I sit at the table with the other fact that came into my mind is that very, very often convenience becomes such an important factor when you select your food. And I think that is where I'm stumbling, you know, in terms of choice of food. I need to look at, you know, cooking more food and taking time to prepare it rather than just getting something off the shelf.
Well, and also sometimes, and we had this talk earlier, when you buy produce, it has a tendency of going bad faster. There are some that last longer, like strawberries don't last longer than blueberries, right? So you learn little habits, like maybe if you get a full package of spinach, my son, he'll get a full package of spinach and kale, and then he'll cut them in half and freeze half and eat the other half, and then maybe cook the other half, because, you know, he tries to live on his own. He doesn't want to ask us for help, and so that's how he saves money. But he's getting all the nutrients, I believe, that he needs by doing that, and saves money. But I think people get in their mind, well, I can't do that, right? Why should I buy fresh and freeze it? And in reality, that's where frozen food and canned food comes from. And they actually say that a lot of nutrients go straight into the can, right? If they can from the field to the can is pretty fast. And but I always think what we're talking about today is drinking water before you eat. Make sure you turn off that TV and just enjoy the food. Enjoy the food that God gave us, and maybe our immunity, but maybe my tummy will go down. And I'm going to start changing when I drink my water.
Water. Same here. I'm going to make all those.
Okay, Scott, do you know who this is? Rex. This is a good friend of mine from Texas. Hello, Rex. Rex.
Hey, how you doing, Kimberly?
Namaste. Welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ankit, Rakesh. It was lovely